Hey everyone, it's Carolyn. Happy Vlogmas Day. I want to say this is 5. I hope I said Vlogmas Day... Oh wait, no, it's 4. I hope I said Vlogmas Day 3 in the previous video, but if I didn't, I'll just put it in the title. But anyway, Vlogmas Day 5 at this point, and this is going to be one of the 2 Jane Austen book tags that I'm going to do, and I say 2 because there are apparently 2. One of them I've seen around BookTube a lot recently, which was created by, I want to say like Thoughts from Nowhere or Books from Nowhere. I'll find out and put it in the description. But the other one was one that I found by accident, that was done by Reading Rainbow Hair, and it's also Jane Austen related, but it's different. It has different questions. So in honor of Jane Austen's birthday this month, which is on the 16th of December, I really wanted to do both tags. And I'm also going to do a special video actually on her birthday, but it's not going to be either of the tags. So anyway, let us get started, shall we? The person who I most recently saw do this video is Sam from Sam's Nonsense. So I will put her channel down in the description, and again, I'll figure out who originally created it and put them down in the description. So the first question, and I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to read these off, because I'm not that good at memorizing questions. But the first question is, Sense and Sensibility, a book with a dynamic sibling relationship. And I didn't really know, like, by dynamic, I didn't know if they meant that, like, they're kind of opposites or what. That's kind of what I thought. So I cheesily picked Harry Potter, and I picked the Weasleys because since there are 7 children, you can tell that they all have very different personalities. Some of them do have similar traits, but they are all individually their own people, except I would definitely say that the twins, Fred and George, work as a unit. So I would say that it's like they together make up a whole personality, if that makes sense. Which I know is a cliche thing to say about twins, but anyway. So yeah, I would definitely say that, because, you know, like, Ron is the sibling who has to live up to all of the siblings, all of the brothers that came before him. Ginny is the only girl, so she's the one who has to just put up with all the brothers and having the only, like, female personality, I guess, except with the exception of her mother. And then Bill is, like, the kind of tough guy personality a little bit, and you know, Percy is the I'm a strict disciplinarian one. So and you know, there's also Charlie, which I don't really know what to say about Charlie. I really like his character, but I don't know how to say that he's different. I feel like Charlie is a little bit of a combination of some of his other siblings, if that makes sense. So yeah, and then the twins are just amazing. They're the complete goofballs, but they're wonderful. So yes, Harry Potter, and this is the one that I grabbed because it's the one that's outside of the box set right now. So yes. Next is Pride and Prejudice, a book that I wasn't into at first, but then it ended up being amazing. And that would be The Warden by Anthony Trollope. I don't have it to show you because I've lent it to my grandmother. I actually lent it to her quite a while ago and she still hasn't read it, so I might try to sneak it back from her. But anyway, The Warden, within the first, like, 50 pages, I want to say, I was not liking it. I started listening to the audiobook, narrated by Simon Vance, and I remember being so upset that I wasn't actually liking it because I really love Simon Vance's narration of all the other books I've listened to that he's narrated, and I also realized that at the time, I was being influenced by all the prejudice of different reviews that I had heard about The Warden, where people were saying that they just found it incredibly boring, and they just didn't like it at all. They didn't like the church politics. And at the beginning, within the first 50 pages, it is very church politicky and, like, talks about those kind of politics and stuff, which, you know, I was kind of nodding off at some points, and I was just like, but then somehow within like the next 20 to 40 pages after that first 50, that's when I just immediately got sucked in and hooked. And what did it was how gorgeous Trollope's writing is, and how he incorporates the way he makes historical and mythical and literary allusions within his novels. That is just what completely made me fall in love with his writing, and what made the story pick up so much for me. And just as we get to know the characters more, I just really found myself rooting for all but one character in the story. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed that one, and I would recommend it. It's the first book in his Barset Chronicles series, and even if you do have a little bit of trouble getting through it, it is worth it just to get to Barchester Towers. Next is Emma, a book where two close friends fall in love. Now, I can't actually give you a title. I can give you an author, which is Charles Dickens, or who is Charles Dickens, and I am thinking of a specific novel, but if I tell you which novel it is, that will, to me, give away a very large part of the plot. So I don't want to tell you which one it is, but, you know, Katie, if you're watching, you know which one I'm talking about. So, yes, it's a certain Charles Dickens novel, and, you know I've only read 4.5 at this point, so it can only be so many of them, but, yeah, that, I don't want to say, because I don't want to give it away to you guys, because to me, that was one of the best things about the book. So, yeah, anyway, a very specific Charles Dickens. Next is Mansfield Park, a rags to riches plot. I went with 2 different ones for this one. I went with Beauty by Robin McKinley, which is, of course, a retelling of Beauty and the Beast. So, basically, when Beauty moves into Beast's castle, I know it's technically not, like, her money and everything, but basically when she moves in, it's, like, all the servants, basically treat her as if everything is hers. Like, in her room, she has all of these wonderful things, and the library is completely hers, and, yeah, so, and, especially if we all know the ending of Beauty and the Beast, then, yeah, definitely a rags to riches, story, because in the beginning, her father's a merchant, and I think he ends up losing most of his money, I'm pretty sure. So, yep, that one. And the other one is, and it's more of a, like, do-it-yourself kind of rags to riches story, but actually not even, because it really is also a little bit about luck, and that is Far From the Madding Crowd by Thomas Hardy. Bathsheba Everdeen, in the beginning of this, is working on her aunt's farm, and, gosh, what was I going to say? Oh, and right after, like, towards the beginning of the book, she gets a letter that says her uncle has passed away, and this was an uncle who she stayed with quite often when she was little, so he was kind of like an adoptive parent to her, and when he passed away, he left his entire farm to her. So, she goes from being just kind of a working help to her aunt to, having this huge working farm. Like, I think it might be the biggest or second biggest one in the county, that's all hers. So, yeah, and the story is amazing, by the way. And then, the last two are Persuasion, a book involving second chances. You guys might laugh at this one. Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas, and is it Moss or Mass? I don't know how you say her name, but anyway, I say this is a book about second chances. It sort of is. This girl, the main girl, Selena, is basically given the choice between rotting in prison or, is it prison? Oh, it's basically like she can stay down in the salt mines, which is basically like prison, or she can become an assassin for the prince and the king. And, you know, either of these choices, she could possibly die at any time, but at least with being the king's assassin, she's on more of, say, the right side of the law and stuff like that. So yeah, don't know how second chancey this really is, but yep. And okay, side note, what I love about this cover is, okay, on the front she looks like a badass, and then on the back she's wearing this really rich, gorgeous white gown. I just really like the dynamic of this cover. And I don't know if this is also on the American cover, but I really thought the UK covers were prettier anyway, which is why I bought this copy. So, yes, that one. And then last but certainly not least, Northanger Abbey, a book with an over-imaginative character. Now, for this one took me a minute, because I was just like, but, I mean, Catherine Morland is like the most over-imaginative character ever. And then I had a light bulb, and I was like, wait a minute, duh. Anne from Anne of Green Gables by Lucy Maud Montgomery. This girl is the most fanciful, romantic character that you will ever read about. She just gets lost in the clouds all the time with her imagination and with things that she reads, and just everything she sees it completely differently from other people. She sees everything for what its possibilities could be and what she wishes it was, rather than what it actually is. And, you know, most of the time that actually serves her very well. Sometimes it gets her into some trouble, but most of the time it's great. So, yes. Anne Shirley from Anne of Green Gables. And yes, that is the Jane Austen book tag. So, let me know if you guys are doing this tag. Again, I saw this on Sam's channel from Sam's Nonsense, and I will look up the original person and put their channel down in the description if I can find it. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a good day. Bye.